What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday. It's a Steelers day, baby. These guys might be a little jealous, but we're waving the terrible towels. It's Vaughn Dalzell, Kyle Dvorchak, Lawrence Jackson, DFS and fantasy betting tonight. Guys, I want to open it up. First of all, I had a very interesting thing happen to me. A guy that cheated us 2 years ago in our fantasy league finally started paying people back. So I want to ask you guys, have you ever had a cheater in your fantasy league, and what did you do with that individual?
In any of my leagues in particular, I can't recall that like there's been collusion with trades and stuff like that, but those never really get through. But one thing that I did find interesting, right, a couple weeks ago, right before we kicked off the season, apparently some young lady just had a fantasy draft and she tweeted about it, and I started reading the story, and she ended up getting kicked out of the league for calling this dude out. So she was drafting, and the commissioner didn't get the players that he wanted. So he wanted to redo the draft. He wanted to redo the draft, and he wanted to change the rules. He wanted to take away the keeper rules in the middle of the draft. So the girl called him out, and then I guess she got kicked out of the league. And so I was like, I've heard of some things, but not like this. Like, how are you changing the rules of no matter what the rule is? How are you changing any rule in the middle of a fantasy draft because you didn't get the players that you wanted? That's like 7-year-olds playing fantasy.
I'll take it one step further. In the league that I dealt with the cheater, I joined a league. A friend texted me, "Would you like to join this league? You know, this one guy from my work. I never met the guy. I figured easy money. These are regular people. No problem." I joined the league. Week 2, I get an update. You know, when league commissioners change the settings and it gets sent to your phone, your email. It's at 3 p.m. on a Sunday, and I get the commissioner just changed the longest reception prop bonus. And I'm like, what? So I go and look. This cat has Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
I'm like, yo, this cannot be happening.
Tyreek must have went off that day.
He did. He did. He had a classic 160 or something like that. That man was boosting things trying to win. So I called him out. He felt like a dummy because he didn't know that you get emails about the settings.
Like
So
he
like, bro,
really thought that wasn't gonna show up.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
closest I've ever come, I felt like 2 years ago, whatever year we got Taysom Hill under center as a tight end, and then leagues just took away his tight end eligibility. Like, I picked him up in like week 2, knowing that on the off chance he got in the lineup, I was smashing. Like, I'm sorry you didn't pick him up, but like the rules are the rules. And a lot of fantasy sites across the industry just changed it. Like, I get that it breaks the game, but like, I'm sorry you weren't paying attention. Like, not my fault you weren't picking him up. So I was like a little tilted. And then so they took away tight end eligibility, and they have since given it back. And if they do it again, like, I will lose, because we've already had this happen once. You've been put on notice. If you don't have Taysom Hill, dude, you might be facing a team that's a super flex team in your regular non-super flex league. Pay attention more next time. I don't know. I was actually like a little tilted by that.
And you know what, Kyle? You probably started him on that week, one of them weeks where he played the Falcons. So that was a nice, smooth 25 points right there from your tight end. So you was good.
Dude, I'm hoping it happens again. I got some Taysom Hill this year.
Likewise.
I don't got no Taysom Hill, but that's why I'm not the fantasy expert. I definitely need your guys' help for some plays tonight. We got some people in the chat. I'm going to kick it off before I even give it to one of the people in the live chat here because, guys, Pat Freiermuth at tight end or Noah Fant against the Falcons. Is it that easy? Who do I go with?
The Moot was loose.
Freiermuth for me. Just like not. It's a low. We got a low over under tonight. I don't care. You know, this dude had 10 targets week 1. You know what I'm saying? Give me Freiermuth. That the Seahawk passing game too inconsistent with the targets. Like we see Will Disley and whoever the hell else. Jimmy Graham might come back. Give me Freiermuth. I wouldn't even want to stress my mind thinking about them 2 tight ends. Give me Freiermuth.
Okay. Easy. All right, bet. We got some in the chat too that says that, so we will roll with that one. So DJ Moore or DK Metcalf? I feel like this is a pretty good one to start with for this Sunday's action. We'll do a couple of these live chats so everyone get your questions in before we hop in about that Steelers-Browns Thursday night football game. But Lawrence, DJ Moore or DK Metcalf? Know you're a big Metcalf guy. What you think?
I'm a big Metcalf guy, but I'm a realist. And what's real is that DJ Moore has not gotten going with Baker Mayfield. At least with at least with DK Metcalf, he'll get the looks. He had 7 targets, even though it's for a measly 36 yards in week 1. DJ Moore. The targets they do seem like they're being distributed to DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson and Christian McCaffrey. But in the first 2 games, he just has not gotten a big reception until the fourth quarter, so in their offense is still trying to figure it out. They didn't have it figured out versus the Giants. So it'll be a little tougher for them versus the Saints. So give me DK Metcalf versus the Falcons.
I'm off DK Metcalf. I can't play with this Mickey Mouse nonsense. Like, Geno Smith has the lowest ADOT of all quarterbacks. His ADOT is lower than Ben Roethlisberger's was last year. And Ben Roethlisberger was going out there with like a bunch of bungee cords taped to his shoulder as his arm. Like, he just could not even throw. And Geno Smith is doing even less than that. And where does DK Metcalf win? He wins deep and on the boundary. Like, they're just going to funnel it to the tight ends, the backup tight ends of all players, not even what we would want to be the starting tight end, maybe the running backs and Tyler Lockett. So I know I get it. Geno isn't that much worse than Baker, but I still think the offense
I don't
they're
know
running,
if he ain't worse at all.
I think the fact that they're treating him like a high school quarterback, that says a lot about him, even if he does have like a high completion rate.
They need to treat Baker Mayfield like a high school quarterback.
Maybe we could use a little more of it for Baker.
Panthers trying to avoid an 0-10 ATS and money line losing streak this weekend. Hosting the Saints. Baker Mayfield against the Saints defense. That's going to be a good one, man. I wouldn't be playing him in fantasy. From Columbus, shout out to Saul. Columbia. Oh, my God. Columbia. Look at us, international. Thank you, Saul. We appreciate you guys for watching, man. Deontay Johnson today due to weather conditions. Man, I'll leave this one to you guys because I am not high on Deontay Johnson as a Steelers fan. I'm waiting for George Pickens to overtake his role, and then I'm waiting for Chase Claypool to be a Mapletron, and then we just move on with 2 huge receivers that are ready to go, and Ben Roethlisberger's at home, super jealous.
I'm not sitting Deontay. Like, the weather is like the perfect game for someone like Deontay who just sits curls 5-6 yards downfield, picks him up and runs after the catch. We have only seen so far from George Pickens, he's just running goes and fades in like 9 rounds. They refuse to use him on anything else, and he's just clearing out a corner. Like, he's just opening space. And like, maybe that has some utility to them. I think it's kind of dumb personally, but there's been no indications they plan to actually use him like a legit part of the offense. They just want to use him as a set piece to make other players on the team work better. So because of that, and I think the weather, like, maybe it hurts Deontay a little bit, but proportionally it's going to hurt the deep guys more, at least, because it's looking rain and specifically some gusty wind. That's going to hurt the deep guys like George Pickens even more. So to me, he's the least affected of like all the receivers in this game by the weather, and he's the highest target share of them all. So I like Deontay. I'm not sitting him.
Yeah, if there's a guy that I'm not worried about with these receivers at this point, it got to be Deontay Johnson. He's the target hog right now. And George Pickens did say, "Hey, bro, I'm open 99% of the time." So he talking to somebody. But I wouldn't sit Deontay Johnson today. The weather conditions, I don't even know what the weather conditions are over there, but apparently they're not good. But that's your guy right there. And more than likely, you probably don't have too much better than him. If you do, let us know on the flip side.
Yeah, it's supposed to be between 20 and 30 miles per hour wind throughout the entire game. The total for over punts as of last night was 10.5. That's a ton of punts in an NFL game. So that's just what they're expected from the books here. So very interesting because, of course, Miles Sanders has been kind of blowing up here. He's having a good season. Najee Harris dealing with that Liz Frank. He's got a little bit of an injury, been banged up. We saw Jaylen Warren get kind of induced into that lineup there last week. So are you guys willing to go Miles Sanders over Najee?
Negative. Najee didn't score a touchdown last week. That's all it was. Now the what he did with the volume wasn't efficient, but he got the volume. 20 touches, 89 yards. I got him falling into the end zone tonight. Speaking of weather, low scoring game it should be. This is where I like Najee right here.
Yeah, I think you got to stick with Najee, but man, it's ugly. He's like he doesn't do like anything special as a runner. He doesn't have like long speed. He's not a particularly great tackle breaker, but he can handle a lot of work and he's a good pass catcher. So to me, like he's the ideal running back to have in a good offense, sort of like the Leonard Fournette type. But this is not, I mean, we're seeing it. Leonard Fournette's offense is collapsing around him and it's not going well for him either. But to that end, like I still want to be betting on volume above all else. It's close. Najee's been falling every week in my rankings, but he hasn't quite eclipsed Sanders yet.
I like to hear that. Yeah, I'd be leaning towards Miles Sanders, to be honest with you. I don't know what to make of Najee Harris and that Steelers offensive line right now. My guy said Putin demand the Steelers fire Mike Tomlin. Listen, Mike Tomlin ain't never going anywhere, baby.
This dude never had a losing season. What you talking about?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not three. About, what is it, 55 or 60 years, the Steelers have had 3 head coaches. All right, you got to be a screw-up to get fired by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Mike Tomlin, definitely not that. That is my guy no matter what. So let's get into this game real quick. Get back to the live chat too. Steelers at the Browns. We've seen the Browns go from 5-point favorites, 5.5 at some point down to 4. Over-unders down from 40.5 to 38. As we talked about, the weather makes this game look like a clear under bet. Historically, the under's been a great bet between these two teams. Historically, the Steelers never really underdogs, but when they are, they do pretty well. So what do you guys like in this game? What's your breakdown? And Kyle, I'll kind of start with you.
Yeah, I think if you could have gotten that line before we found like weather, I feel like weather stuff is still one sort of underexplored, sort of especially early in the week type of deal where anytime we get these like brutal water games, we got one in week 1, these brutal snow games early in the week. If you can get those lines early, I would continue trying to get them. It's like one easy edge to still have. I would still take the under here, but less confidently. I don't hate taking Pittsburgh with the points. I just think like a team backed by Jacoby Brissett, I get they have really good talent everywhere else, but like a team with Jacoby Brissett under center is not one I want to be betting on, even if the other side isn't going to have much better quarterback play. It's just the fact that they're getting the points here. Like I think the quarterback play neutrals things out a lot.
What do you got, Lawrence?
Yeah, it does. Like the over under says it all, man. 38, and it's probably gonna be closer to under 33, something like that of that nature.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mentioned Najee already. Nick Chubb obviously gonna be in play. I feel like we're gonna see the running backs do a lot of work here. With Jacoby Brissett, they dialed back the passing from week 1 to week 2, and it helped them tremendously. He threw 27 passes, completed 22 of those, so he was a lot better in week 2 than he was week 1, and I expect more of the same here. On the flip side, like Kyle said, it's not like you got some crazy, some crazy advantage at the quarterback position with Mitchell Trubisky over there. So both teams going to try to control the game. I do expect both teams at some point, though, to try to take that shot. That's what you try to do in these types of games. You lull them to sleep when it's a defensive battle. You pop them over the top. This might be the time George Pickens finally do something. It might be fun.
I would love to see it, baby.
It might be one play, but hey, you never know, man. So I'm just looking forward to seeing, these running backs get involved. Najee, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb. We saw him just get the 3 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt didn't get a touchdown, but he still ran at a nice clip, 4.5 yards per carry in week 2. So that's what I'm kind of looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, and one thing you guys kind of hit on is, trying to get those deep passes, because as the Steelers receivers said, they feel like they're open. They feel like they got the advantage out there, but Mitch Trubisky doesn't have the time or the awareness to be able to find him. We've seen the Kenny Pickett chance already. I don't think we're going to be seeing Kenny Pickett anytime soon, but in the next 3 or 4 weeks, those chances will be definitely they'll keep coming for sure. But as you guys can see on the screen, primetime unders are 6-1 this season. The only one that hit the over was the Titans and Bills, which the under was 47.5. The over hit 48, and that line moved from 51.5 down to 47.5 throughout the week. So if you're getting the opening numbers, the under is still 7-0 this season. Primetime underdogs have not done well. But a lot of people are on my Steelers tonight to cover that 4 because Mike Tomlin's so phenomenal against the spread. Kevin Stefanski, terrible.
Very important game for both teams.
Very important. It's a must-win spot in essence for these teams. They got 2 lackluster squads next week. They got putting sandwich opportunities here. Browns blowing a lead against the Jets. Steelers losing against the Patriots. But I've been alive watching too many Steelers games to not bet an under in this contest. So I locked in the under 31. I also locked in Jacoby Brissett, longest completion, under 31.5. He only has 2 deep ball attempts in 2 games. So is there anything you guys are betting on this game? Anything you're pretty confident in?
You want to?
Well, yeah, I had one. Actually, it was I believe it was Nick Chubb over 125 rushing yards plus 325. I think betting the straight up, just like whatever his line is, given how much it's moved up and how much the public is on it, I probably wouldn't take it where it's at right now. It's like something it's over 80 right now, I think, which is just such a high number for a player who's a very good committee back. But I think Nick Chubb gets there. If he really gets there, he gets over 86. He gets there pretty significantly because it comes on 1, maybe even 2 really long runs. So I think if you're taking the 86, you should be looking for like an alt line to try and get farther ahead of that 86 than just get, the minus 105 or whatever the juice is on it.
What do you think about this? BetMGM reporting 95% of the money is on Nick Chubb's overs tonight. Kelce?
Now, see, that's tough.
When you showed me this, I knew Nick Chubb was like the all-time fade in DFS. Like he's going to be captain at like 25%, and he doesn't even get all of his team's carries. And
this is where you got to go Kareem Hunt right here.
Yes,
this you got to go Kareem Hunt. Go a little cheaper. Last week, like I said, look, Nick Chubb had 17 carries last week. Nick Chubb had 17. Kareem Hunt had 13. That's not that far off. Like
it's a full-blown committee.
Like I will take that from Kareem Hunt instead of going with the public. Like, because look, like you said, Kyle, he's going to be in captain spots in DFS, and you could tell that just by looking at this 95% of the money on that over, and that's cool. Whatever, everybody gonna be on that though.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of people too are getting high on George Pickens tonight. I see the public. I know a lot. Like I'm like a Steelers jersey. A lot of friends from back in Pittsburgh, and they're like, "This is the Pickens game," and I'm like, "From what have you seen that you're thinking it's the Pickens game?"
I'll tell you what. Look, my prop to back tonight is George Pickens. I got George Pickens on the over 2.5 receptions. That'll be the George Pickens game for me. Just give me 3 catches.
3 catches.
I don't care if it's for 42 yards or 14. He get 3 catches. Now he get like 1.7 targets a game, so he'll need to get more than that because that math don't work right if you know what I mean. But 2.5. But the thing about these bets though, that you see that number 2 and you see that number 1. And it looks so usually 1.5 receptions over and unders go to running backs. You see that number 1 and that number 2, and you're like, oh, that's cool. That's easy. He'll get that. Then it's 2 minutes left in the third quarter, and he got 0. And now you're sweating.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a situation like KJ Osborne on our Monday show where I give out over 2.5 reception. He has 2. Kirk Cousins throws the ball about 50 times. And then we got Jalen Reagor, Alex Madison stealing my snaps as wide out threes. I don't think that'll happen here for George Pickens because they're not going to be throwing the ball that much. But I don't know. I lean towards the under here. And
I had the under. So I think Lawrence, you're outnumbered 2-1. It sounds like
well, I'm outnumbered in 2. I'm outnumbered in 2.5 receptions too. It seemed like
he's got 1 catch in each of his first 2 games, and it's not like his role has at least in terms of snaps and routes run, has a chance to grow. Last week, he played on 85% of the snaps. It's not like he's not out there. And we're hoping this week. I know that's like they just don't use him the way you use a receiver who you want involved in your offense. Or more importantly, Mitchell Trubisky is not going to use him as if he's an involved piece of the offense. I think it's very possible. I don't know if Kenny Pickett's that guy, but Mitch Trubisky certainly ain't it. If Kenny Pickett is like a good all-purpose down the field type of thrower, these routes will eventually start converting once Pickett is under center. But Trubisky is just not that type of quarterback, and the team has no desire to convert Pickens at least through 2 weeks. It's a small sample, but through 2 weeks, given his route composition, they just want him to clear stuff out.
That man went out there and made a statement. When a wide receiver make a statement, you better make it happen. He said, hey, he told the reporter he opened 99% of the time, but who he really was telling Mitchell Trubisky.
Oh, definitely.
Like, I'm open and you better get me that ball at least 3 times tonight. And this gonna happen, baby. I'm riding with him. George Pickens over 2.5 receptions. Let's get it.
Hey, he's a dog, man. Like when I saw him in camp practicing and running over cornerbacks, throwing them on the ground, blocking them, stiff arming them to the ground, I was like, this guy is going to be a locker room fan favorite. But the guys that are coming on the Steelers team for practice squad are going to absolutely hate George Pickens because he's going to torment these dudes. So I can't wait to see what he becomes. I think he's going to be one of the best receivers. But getting back to the chat, we do got you guys blowing up. We got about 30 live chats here in the last 5 minutes. So Lawrence, we got a question for you from Joe. Joe, thank you for watching, man. Shout out to you. Thoughts on Kareem Hunt tonight and Najee? I think you hit that Kareem Hunt's. He's the guy.
Yeah. I did. So I like, ironically, not to say Nick Chubb ain't gonna do nothing. He gonna get the opportunity, but I like Najee tonight because he's still getting the volume. Like I said, 20 touches in week 2, scored a touchdown in week 1. So I like him there. That's the easy play. Kareem Hunt now, he's seen the volume 2 weeks straight. He didn't get the touchdowns like he did in week 1, but that could very well come tonight, especially in what type of game we expect this to be. Like I said, this guy's, if you want to consider him a backup, he's easily the best backup running back in the league, if that's what you want to call it. A lock for 15 touches in a player like Kareem Hunt, who's good out the backfield, catching the ball, can do a lot of things with 15 touches, and I expect him to do it tonight. I like Kareem Hunt for the DFS play over a guy like Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I love that call. Like, I think that's just like when you're going to get, like, we could see Nick Chubb push 20+% at captain. That's like good quarterback numbers. Like the best quarterbacks do that because it's such an ugly slate. You don't want to play quarterbacks. You want to play 1, maybe 2 receivers on the entire slate. There just really aren't great options. So everyone is going to be playing Nick Chubb. And it's the same thing with the 95% of the MGM bets on the over. It's just like there's one obvious play and people equate that with him just being a lock to go off. But like that equates to him being like 12 to 15% odds of being the optimal captain play. And he's just going to be way over that in terms of his ownership. So I love the Kareem Hunt pivot over him. Just like if you want to like, this is kind of like the basic showdown stuff. If you just want to build like non-duplicated high leverage lineups, like these are the ugly decisions you got to make.
Yeah, and Kareem Hunt's been a very hot player prop selection this week, so I think he's going to be a guy you should be playing in DFS. His over 10.5 rushing attempts has been a hot bet. That did open up at 9.5. His rushing yards has gone up to like about 42. So definitely he's getting steam. I think he's the right pick here with everyone thinking Nick Chubb's the play. Pat Freiermuth or George Kittle in the return with Jimmy G under center now. I'm the captain now.
This is one interesting. I'm going Kittle. Jimmy G is back. I got no worries. We know if they're gonna put like they've been cautious with Kittle in his return. So if he is on that field, he ready to go. And if he with Jimmy G, I ain't got no worries. He gonna do numbers. If it was with Trey Lance, everybody would be wanting to wait and see how it go. Unfortunately, we won't see Trey Lance till next season. Jimmy G ain't a lot of things, but one thing he is a man who know how to get that football to George Kittle and let that man do that work. Now, I will say this. The game script sometimes does not allow Kittle to do that. Some games he's a blocker, and that's why he's one of the best tight ends in the league. He can do it both ways. But with Jimmy G and him and Kittle being healthy, that's an every week start, to be honest.
Yeah, totally agree. Like, Freiermuth's good, right? He actually came out and came out hotter than I thought he would to start the year because they have so much receiver talent, but he does fit the skill set of Trubisky and probably even Pickett eventually. Well, but like Kittle's just on another level. And for these players, like even if he's coming back from an injury, if he's active, I'm just willing to gamble on him unless we get some sort of like egregious report that he's going to be on like, the break glass in case of emergency type of snap count. We haven't gotten that. He looks ready to come back. So I'll take Kittle.
Yeah, we'll make that one unanimous. I don't think I would even think about playing Freiermuth over George Kittle. I love the Jimmy G back in San Francisco. I wish Jimmy G was the quarterback of the Steelers. That's what I was hoping would happen this offseason. But we don't get what we want here.
Be a little better off.
We would be a lot better off. He's a winner, baby. Jimmy G is a winner. So shout out to Greg dropping in the chat. Drake London, beast. Devontae Smith, Gabe Davis, or T. Higgins in the flex. Pick two. What you like, Lawrence?
I'm going T. Higgins first here. He's leading catches and targets for the Bengals right now, even though they got Jamar Chase. This is a guy I talked about all summer. He missed week 1. He came back week 2, and he showed us why he's, again, the best number 2 wide receiver in football. So that one is easy for me with T. Higgins. I would go Gabe Davis, but the emergence of Drake London got me feeling some type of way. I know Kyle gonna go Gabe Davis right here.
You better believe it, brother.
He gonna go Gabe. And I can't argue that because seeing how Jake Kumaro did the other night, all I was thinking like that'd have been Gabe Davis right there. But Drake London just off to a hot start as a rookie. 5 catches, 74 yards in game 1. We like, all right, cool. He followed that up with 8 for 86 and a touchdown. Like they acting like Kyle Pitts don't exist. So they're now they're playing the Seahawks. Young, good, but young and inexperienced secondary. I'm gonna go Drake London right there. T. Higgins and Drake London.
Yeah, T. Higgins was a slam dunk for me. It's him and then a pretty big tier gap between the rest of these guys. I don't hate Drake London. I think he's a fine pick over Gabe Davis. I'd take Davis because the Bills are just like, they're on another level. I think they're the best team in the NFL. They're the best team in the NFL, and it's not really that close right now. And I think like a lot of teams have the chance to get up there by the end of the season, but right now they're the best offense, and they're just curb stomping everyone in their way. So I will take Gabe Davis, assuming he comes back at any approximation of 100% healthy.
It looked like he is going to come back. He'll be back.
Yeah, it looks good for him to come back. He said today or yesterday that he's like 100% certain to come back. I don't know. 100%. Players are always a little more confident than they should be, of course, but it looks pretty good.
Yeah, no, they didn't really miss him too much either against the Tennessee Titans. They didn't need him at all. So, yeah, I like him in this spot. And T. Higgins, I played him last week. I'm going to play him again this week. I'm pretty involved with
every
him.
Week play.
Yeah, and I mean, the Falcons and Seahawks, we said it on Monday that's going to have player prop value all over, DFS value all over. So I really like that one. So there's some line movement here. Shout out to our guy Chad here. There's some line movement that the Browns are getting bets now. They're up to 4.5-point favorites. The under has dropped down to 37. So everybody get involved on the total. I love it. It is AFC North football. It is Steelers football, baby.
I mean, what is it out there? Like 29 degrees already? We still in September.
It's Ohio, baby. Listen, if they were playing in Pittsburgh, there would be no field goals being made. It is so thick in Pittsburgh, and the way that stadium is built and shaped. They have a little bit of success here, but we'll see. All the kicking props have dropped as well. So, I don't know. This is going to be an interesting game. I hope it's literally like 10-7. So how do you guys feel about Mitch Trubisky's rushing prop tonight? It's sitting at 12.5 right now, minus 130 to the under. With Najee banged up, like Chad says, there's definitely some sneaky value there. And Mitch, I don't like his arm, but I do like his mobility. Would you be willing to take a flyer on the over 12.5 rushing yards, or is it a fade?
Yeah, I would take it. It's not something prior to that I didn't even know is over for rushing yards, which 12.5, that makes sense for him, I guess. But I thought it would be higher, to be honest, because he looked to run a lot, so but the Najee being banged up thing, that part I wouldn't correlate those two together though, because Najee he all right. They just weren't good. Like the Patriots have a good defense, and you couple that with the fact that the Steelers offensive line ain't great at run blocking, but Mitchell Trubisky, he could get that on one play, and you figure this type of game maybe run about 5 times. he got to get 12 yards in that, right? I mean, it's set like the over under 37 now. Maybe.
I think the only thing that would worry me is that falling over under also is just almost certainly correlated to fewer plays. Like these games with low scores just aren't going to see as much, and they're going to see fewer dropbacks. And Trubisky is not a player who's getting design runs, really. He only has 4 rush attempts on the entire season. So you want his runs to come. I mean, you are expecting his runs mostly to come from just pressured dropbacks that turn into scrambles. And there's not going to be a lot of dropbacks in this game. It's a low total already, and it's low specifically because these teams, by the weather, are not going to be able to pass. So for that reason, I'd probably go with the under, but I don't have a strong take on it.
It's not nothing like game 1, 3 carries for 9 yards.
He could have gotten in that one for sure, unless one of the 2 of those were
last game, 1 carry for 7. So I mean, it's probably more about how many times he runs. I feel like this could be the game where he runs the most, maybe.
Yeah. And I'll say too, following up the home opener at Acrisure Stadium where they're chanting, "We want Kenny." Mitch Trubisky's either He's either going to say, you know what, this is on me to make something happen out here, or he's going to continue playing his game, and we'll continue seeing what's been happening with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, of course, though, the reason why the Steelers will be hopefully a winning team once again under Mike Tomlin is all because of the defense. Without TJ Watt, we are 0-5, allowing about 24 points per game. It was 28 points per game until that Patriots game last week. Of course, Pats only scored 17, but Mac Jones is the quarterback. Dropping the Steelers defense for the Saints this week. Again, I said the Panthers 0-9 ATS, 0-9 on the money line streak. Baker at quarterback, CMC healthy. Would you guys prefer the Steelers or the Saints in fantasy this week?
I'll go Steelers. Because I'll go Steelers and Browns. Last week I recommended going Steelers and Patriots. It was okay. It didn't end up, it looked good for a long time, and then, offenses wanted to score a few points a little bit. But this is one of those games where the Steelers and the Browns, where I like both defenses, because of who at quarterback and how their offenses have been, both defenses are actually in play to score a touchdown. With the Saints, though, I'm not mad at dropping them for the Saints because, like I said earlier, the Panthers offense just hasn't gotten it going yet. I've watched the Panthers games, like I've been zoning on their games the first 2 weeks. A lot of batted balls, a lot of pressure on Baker Mayfield. We know the Saints have a nice defensive pass rush with Cam Jordan and company. So I'm not mad at doing it for the Saints, but I would slightly lean in this type of defensive game that we expect with the Steelers.
I'll take the Saints, but I think for defense, like for the most part, if you just pull up like implied team total or go by home favorites or just favorites, you don't have to do a lot. Defense is so random. Like if you play DFS,
because whichever one, gets the touchdown, you win.
Yeah, exactly.
If one of them get a touchdown, you win.
Yeah, so I don't have strong defensive takes ever, really. I do in showdown because I think that matters more. I wouldn't play Browns defense at captain because I think anytime you just get like low scoring or projected low scoring games, the favored team is going to have like well outsized ownership for their defense at captain. Mm-hmm. They're facing Trubisky. It's a good defense. So I just think like that always is a trend that will lean towards being overowned. But I don't mind the Steelers because they still, even without TJ Watt, I think they still have a very solid defense, and they're facing Jacoby Brissett. So I think they're really good, like a good leverage play. They're the side I would go with, though. I wouldn't play much Browns defense, specifically at captain.
Yeah, I'm a defensive streamer. That's literally defenses, kickers every week. I'm streaming them. But I did pick up the Saints defense. I dropped the Eagles defense against the Commanders and picked up the Saints against the Panthers.
Good move.
Yeah. See, I'm learning, man. I'm learning with you guys. But I did like that one. I thought that was pretty easy. There's a couple other ones in here that are interesting. Under 0.5 passing touchdowns for both quarterbacks tonight. This has been a hot topic. Right now, Jacoby Brissett is plus 200 to not throw a touchdown pass, and Mitch Trubisky is plus 185. At those odds, you could play both of those guys. You hit one, you're making a profit. You just have to split your profit the same amount.
I'd even go, I'd make the separate bet on them and then make it a little parlay. I'll do it like that too, just to see,
Yeah, you same game parlays, you're getting those about somewhere in the range of 8 to 10 to 1 on FanDuel if you'd use FanDuel and do that. But I definitely think it's an opportunity tonight. It's a possibility. Like I said, Jacoby Brissett, only 2 deep passes. When they're in the red zone, we know Nick Chubb is getting the ball. Kareem Hunt's going to get the ball. So, yeah, I definitely lean that way for sure. Some interesting ones there.
Mitch Trubisky has thrown 1 touchdown each game.
Yeah, and I don't even think I'm not confident he'll throw a touchdown every single game. I'd feel very confident saying there's going to be 4 or 5 games on the season where he does not throw a touchdown. And the Browns are going to be one of the better defenses, so I'd lean that way. This guy's got a hell of a lineup. If he's got Dalvin Cook, Amari Cooper in the flex this week. It's Dalvin Cook, right? Dalvin Cook versus the Lions?
Yeah.
Definitely. Easily.
Dalvin Cook, Duran, put Dalvin Cook in there and enjoy your win, especially if you got Dalvin Cook in your flex. The Vikings just saw what happened when they don't get the run game going. They just saw. Expect Dalvin Cook to have a big bounce back week 3 versus the Lions, who, while they're a better team, still got that leaky defense.
Facts. Yeah, I'll be looking at Dalvin Cook to score a touchdown in that game for sure. I like Justin Jefferson a lot. He goes hard. He goes hard against the Lions, but I do think a bounce back game for Dalvin Cook is definitely on the market here. So we got some comments here for Sunday action. Bucks over Packers, a lock.
Is he telling us that?
Yeah, that's what he's telling us. He said Tampa Bay is going to smack on Green Bay. I can see it. I can see it.
I mean, hell, they own Green Bay right now, especially since Tom Brady got there.
Yeah, I'm on Tom Brady's over 23.5 completions. The Packers are one of the highest blitzing teams right now, and Tom Brady's only faced pressure 20% of his dropbacks. So I really feel like this is the Tom Brady snap, throw, right away game. Mr. Dink and Duck. We got Leonard Fournette getting carries. I kind of like the under in the game, but I'd probably lean the Bucs side as well. I want to ask you guys here. I want people in the chat to chime in too, because I just locked in Super Bowl ticket, Bills versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And honestly, it's Tom Brady's final season. I feel like, there's going to be some type of referee nonsense getting him to the promised land, whether he wins it or not. But I'm with Kyle where it comes to the Bills. They are looking like the best team in the NFL. So I want everyone to chime in, throw in your Super Bowl pick. But do you guys have any preference on who you'd be betting Super Bowl right now between the entire NFL? Is the Bills in there?
Anybody but the Bills.
Anybody but the Bills. You're just fading the public?
Bills are a very public team right now. I like them as an offense, but I can't imagine there's actual
hold off
value
season
on them. Yeah.
Hold off season, and especially how they've started off. I'm good on that. Holla at me with them. Holla at me with them Ravens.
My only concern for the Bucs is that they're not getting a first round bye. They're not getting a 1 seed. They're probably not even great for the 2 or 3 seed, because right now they don't look great for this game. They might not have Chris Godwin for the next game. Their line is atrociously banged up. Maybe they kind of pull it all together in weeks 13, 14, 15. But OBJ goes to the Bucs. That would be so much fun. But see,
they just got Cole Beasley.
They already got Cole Beasley.
He's gonna run some 4-yard routes for Tom Brady.
Yeah, they're
new Julian Edelman.
They're bringing in Cole Beasley off the street. This is a team that is down bad, and they're playing like it too. They're just running it up the gut with Lenny for 3.7 yards per carry. They seem checked out, which maybe they plan on just coasting into the playoffs at 10-7 and then going hard. That's probably fine for Brady, but right now they don't look good.
I mean, I'll say this: they ain't lost no game yet, and if they come out of week 3 3-0, and they're like this, folks better watch out.
That's what I'm saying. We've had nothing but negative. We've had nothing. If Gronk comes back,
bro, they need really, Gronk right now.
They need Gronk.
They need him.
Yeah,
they need him as a blocker and a pass catcher too. He'd be great on the end, in line, and then also playing basically a wide receiver 1 role. They need it all, man.
Bro, Gronk's not going to come back though. He's got Friday night and Saturday nights free. That man is living luxurious right now. He'll come back. He'll be 12-1, and he'll be like, you know what? If you guys still need me, let me know. That's when Gronk would come back. But as much as all the negative things we said about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers entering the season, the offensive line, the older receivers, Tom Brady's age, Tom Brady being the masked singer, all these type of things, the Bucs have shut everybody up and definitely shut teams down. So we're hearing it's a Samuel Sunday from Joe. We do love us some Curtis Samuel around here. Deontay Johnson, Drake London, or Curtis Samuel. Definitely an intriguing receiver group there. I'm assuming this is going to be a receiver 3 for the week.
I'd go Deontay here. I'd also be fine with Drake London, especially with this game just looking as miserable as any football game can be. Not that Atlanta versus Seattle is going to be any sort of barn burner, but this one, as you said, the number's still going down. We're within 30 minutes of lock, and it's going down. I'll go Johnson, but like London might be the right answer.
Johnson is just like the best player today, like the most established, but Drake London gonna catch him by week 6 as far as like who you think better. They're gonna be saying Drake London.
Drake London. Yeah. I don't get how it's not. I think this one's easy. I think versus Seattle's secondary.
I mean, let's not sleep on Curtis Samuel either. Like
I'll sleep on Curtis Samuel. It's fine.
What? He is Roto Pat ranked Curtis Samuel over Terry McLaurin.
I'm not there yet. I just won't do it. You can't make
Curtis Samuel got that rushing ability though. Like
that. Oh yeah, that too. What about
the thing is like Drake London's really good at playing receiver though.
Yeah.
Not that Curtis Samuel isn't good, right? But like, what is Terry McLaurin on? Like a $70 million contract. He's been like one of the most productive receivers in the NFL for the past 2 or 3 years. And Curtis Samuel is like a gadget player for Carolina.
Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin on $70 million. Curtis Samuel on 70 million targets. How about that? That's what's going right now. That's what's happening right now.
I like Curtis Samuel. I don't mean to disparage him. I just think like Drake London is like a true alpha one. I'm gonna need more of it from Curtis.
Yeah, man. I like Curtis, we got nothing bad to say about any of these receivers right now. It's tough, but that's a good question, King Felix. Hell of a question right there.
Yeah, I'm with you. Seattle's defense is not good. Play Drake London, my guy. Take my advice on this one. I know what I'm talking about.
And look, that man telling you, and he got a Steelers jersey on.
Yeah, bro. You guys, you said you're talking about the Steelers Browns being one of the worst games. I'm seeing everyone on Twitter talking about what a terrible Thursday night game.
And now watch the score be 35-30.
Relax. We don't want none of that to happen tonight. We got free bets on DraftKings and FanDuel. So if the over hits, I'm gonna be a mad guy tonight. But I'll be honest, like the Seattle Atlanta game, it might be my favorite game to watch this weekend. I'm not even kidding.
You're sick. You're a sick pup.
Yeah, I'm going sicko mode this weekend. I am not playing. I love that. I love the game.
This is why it should be your favorite game because Kyle Pitts finna go off. That's why
Kyle Pitts is finna go off. So yeah. Real quick though. We're Sutton or Pittman, and then let's get out our start and sit guys for this game. And I do want you to talk about Kyle Pitts tonight, because I think him and Drake London are about to combine for like 150, 200 yards. I'll just say that.
Yeah, but Pittman, quick right here. What you got on that, Kyle?
Pittman too. Pittman.
Yeah.
Easy one. Yeah. Well, if we don't need to talk about that one too much, Michael Pittman, and it's a big bounce back game. And everyone in the world, if you're betting the Chiefs, better beware. The Colts will be the sharpest pick this weekend. Max desperation spot for the Colts down 0-2. Love to target teams that are winless through 2 weeks because we know it's like 0-2 compared to 0-3 to make the playoffs. So let's do some start and sits tonight. Lawrence, I'll start with you. Who's the guy you're definitely starting in fantasy tonight?
I mentioned him earlier, it's going to be Kareem Hunt for me. I like the volume that he gets. I like the efficiency. He missed this week. He missed getting in the end zone. That honor went to that honor went to Nick Chubb in week 2. He got all 3 of the rushing touchdowns. I look for that to swing back to Kareem Hunt because, like I say, it ain't like he just getting touches and getting stopped at the line like Cam Akers or nothing like that. Like he doing something with the opportunities that he get. So as long as he getting them 15 touches, I love it. I'm starting him. I'm starting him in my regular leagues tonight. I'm starting him DFS. I'm with all of that.
I like to hear you. I think he's going to have a big night for sure. Kyle, who you guys your stardom player?
Yeah, tonight I'm all in. All in is maybe a relative term, but I like starting Pat Freiermuth. Like just for the skill set if you want to call it that, for what Mitch Trubisky possesses, just the short underneath guy that he can take 8 yards to, every time he targets him, even less, honestly. Just the type of guy that he can jump off to safely in a game where he's not going to have any incentive to go deep. Makes a ton of sense. And tight end is just absolutely miserable. It feels like we're already at week 14 for the level of tight ends I'm looking at streaming. So I would take Freiermuth as like a top, a low end tight end one this week.
Yeah, it's so hard to stream tight ends, man. Like, if you're streaming tight ends, you're definitely ruined in fantasy football. But if you guys are playing those two guys, Lawrence, I see you guys both have the same fade. Mapletron, he's a no-go tonight, like in Deontay.
Why is he Mapletron? Is he Canadian?
Because he's from Canada.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, from Canada. Yeah, so they just called him Mapletron.
I thought they called him Mapletron because he was like soft and moist or something like that. I thought they called him Mapletron. Something like
because he's so sticky.
I don't know. So look, I'm looking at the fades and I'm like, I like to pick a different fade than my friend Kyle here just to mix it up. But I ultimately came back here because it's just like, man, what this dude doing right now, man? This dude got all this physical talent, and he's got 8 catches for 44 yards in 2 games. I don't want no part of that. I'd rather go George Pickens with that upside than start Chase Claypool. And hell, he's still out upside too, but we just don't ever see it. This is year 3 for this man. And so for this type of game, you can only be in on so many receivers. So we got to fade the rest of them. The one I choose to fade is Chase Claypool.
Yeah, for mine, I chose the same one, and it ties in with this question of how much does wind speed matter. 21 mile per hour winds in Cleveland. There's some pretty solid data that shows like once you start getting gusts above 20, it does affect fantasy production for receivers. And I don't know if this has been shown or not, but intuitively, I have to imagine it affects more the deeper you go. And it also affects kicking, obviously, as well. And so I already wasn't super interested in Claypool because, like Lauren said, he hasn't been awfully productive. He's not nothing, but he hasn't been particularly productive through 2 weeks. And he doesn't profile as the type of guy that this offense is going to go too often, even though I love him. Like, I think he would be just an insanely fun player to watch with, Mahomes or Rodgers or someone, right? Mm-hmm. But we don't have anything close to that on this team. We have a guy who's dumping it off. Yeah, he'd be great with a player like that. Like, he has the physical profile of like a true alpha receiver, but like Mitch Trubisky doesn't care at this point in his career. He's just trying to save his job another week and dump off 10 times to Deontay Johnson. So like the wind speed stuff really makes it easy to fade the deep threat type player.
These dudes had the best wind. It still wouldn't even matter about they throwing. So it don't even matter if they had perfect clear weather. It still be shaky.
Yeah, he was on my fade before I even really thought too much about it. But I like the idea that it does couple well with the way this game is trending.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. I mean, I love him. He's definitely going to be a guy I hope that sticks around in Pittsburgh for quite some time and figures it out. And we have a special bond. We don't know each other, but we have the same person that braids our hair, the same hair braider. So yeah, I got told she does Chase Claypool, and I was like, well, I want to feel semi-famous, so I'm gonna go get my hair done the same place Chase Claypool does. Shout out to Sin, she's amazing.
So you get your hair done the same place as Chase Claypool. So
yeah,
should we call you maple syrup too?
Maple syrup, yo, relax.
Did we call you that too? Y'all got. Yeah, I don't know how it go. I don't know.
Yeah, anyone calls me maple syrup, I'll be having black Air Forces on. You know what that means. So don't call me maple syrup.
Chase Claypool got his black Air Forces already. You know what? He probably turned his in already. He wearing some pink ones. He wearing some pink ones now. But anyway,
he wearing some pink Air Forces to the game tonight with maple syrup on the side. All right, you guys, for the first time though on this show, have picked a different person on Thursday Night Football for your highest fantasy score prediction. All right, I'll wave the towel for you guys on that one because it's about time.
Wave that towel. So I'm actually surprised we picked the different. I thought we already did pick a different one.
You might have, but it doesn't seem like it. Every single time.
It might be our first Thursday too, because we've picked a lot like the same so far. Maybe the ones we got different were on Mondays, and we both didn't pick like the obvious chalk answer. It's like I'm trying to do with this. Like I could just pull up like our projections every week and tell you like, oh well, either quarterback or flex play. Chubb. Like this week could be Chubb, no matter what. But I'm trying to be a little bit unique, especially give you an edge in like, fantasy or DFS. Deontay Johnson, this just looks like the perfect game for Deontay Johnson as a slight underdog to go out and keep racking up targets. And that's what he does. He showed us last year, he showed us the year before that he just has a gravity to him. He goes out there, he creates separation, he gets open. And that's perfect for Dusty Ben Roethlisberger, Dusty Mitchell Trubisky, and probably perfect Kenny Pickett too, whenever that happens. So to me, Deontay Johnson as just like a clear top receiver on his offense, even if it's not the best offense. If Nick Chubb doesn't get in the end zone, Deontay Johnson will be the guy.
I'm gonna go with Najee Harris right here, man. Like I say, still the guy, still getting the volume. Jaylen Warren getting sprinkled in a little bit. Every running back need a breather. That's cool. If you giving me Najee Harris with 20 touches, I'll take that to the bank, especially when considering, you got Chubb and Kareem Hunt who sometimes they cancel each other out, sometimes they don't. Tonight, I think they will. That's why I like Kareem Hunt over Nick Chubb tonight, but it's why I like Najee Harris over both of them. You get near that goal line, the chances of him to get a touchdown go past 90%. So I'm going to go with Najee Harris tonight. I know there are concerns about him. I don't know if he, gets rid of those concerns tonight, but he'll get closer to it. He got to show people he healthy. He'll get the healthy workload, and he going to do something with it.
What I'm about to say, there'll be a picture. If you look up the word nutty in the documentary or in the dictionary, I might be right beside it, the picture of me. I have this weird feeling that Derek Watt is about to be the goal line back for the Steelers if Najee Harris.
Hey,
that's a good cut and showdown. These are the types of grimy plays you need to be bringing us for showdown.
That.
I love it. Oh my God. I literally was like, that's perfect.
Reggie Gilliam.
Dude, It happens every single week.
Reggie Gilliam. And that was a reception.
Backups.
That was like a 12-yard reception touchdown.
Yeah. That was a good catch,
he broke
too.
2 tackles. Yeah, that was.
Man, this dude said Derek Watt. Now I'm thinking about it. I might have to see what that anytime touchdown prop.
That's what I was about to say, because it's 25-1. $4 wins 100 on Derek Watt to score. He's only scored 1 touchdown in his career with the Chargers. He's never scored with the Steelers yet, and that's shocking to me because I'm like, he's got
I do that bet every game.
Huh? You said
I
you
bet
bet
that
every game. Yeah, I mean those odds are crazy, and you figure if he scores once this season, you made up your money in that one bet. And with Najee Harris being banged up, I really feel like Derek Watt could find the end zone this season. He could get his first touchdown.
That'll be funny, man.
I mean, hey, it's a couple bucks, $1. You bet $1 for 16 weeks in a row, you're definitely going to make out, hopefully. We got some maple syrup emojis dropped in here. I love maple
everyone, get your maples in the chat. Come on, maples
chicken.
In the chat, everyone.
Big maple.
Yeah, maple syrup on your chicken. Honestly, I've had it before. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Dude, chicken and waffles hits.
That's Southern stuff, chicken waffles stuff. So that syrup just drip onto that chicken and you love it.
So I had to defriend somebody in middle school because they were trying to convince people maple syrup on spaghetti and sugar on spaghetti were the moves.
I think they just watched Elf. I think he just puts a whole bunch of candy on his stuff, and they were just like, "I'm gonna pass this off as my own idea."
Yeah, that's probably actually likely. Back in middle school, I wouldn't have thought about all that, but see, that's the type of synopsis we get here from Kyle. But hey, Joe, come on, man. Derek Watts, get in there. We do like fried chicken or syrup on our fried chicken, all that stuff. So we got we covered this one already. We said we're rolling with we were differentiated on this one, but
no, we were all
like George Kittle, right? We were George
Kittle. Vaughn, were you on Freiermuth?
No, I'm on George Kittle.
We're all on Kittle. We're all on Kittle.
It's definitely George Kittle then for that one. Going through these because we got about 5-6 minutes left. Streaming Atlanta D, Texans, Giants, or stick with the Rams D this weekend. Rams are very good against the Cardinals, but something's telling me things are going to change in that series.
I like that Giants defense right here. They're the reason why the Giants are even 2-0. To be honest, let's just be.
It ain't Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones ain't throwing for 200 damn yards in a game. This defense is performing. They, albeit against the Panthers, but they went in Tennessee. They held their own against Derrick Henry and them. I like the Giants. The Cowboys. offense ain't doing nothing spectacular at all. You know, this is a game that they very well could win, and that's a low over under too. Definitely go with the Giants D here for me at least. The thing about the Rams defense that would scare me, I feel like they would shut down Kyler Murray, but he get them garbage touchdowns at the end.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Like I said, the Rams have won 10 of the last 11 against the Cardinals. But sometimes, those trends are going to start reversing, and Kyler Murray's only getting better. So the Cardinals. Cordell Patterson, Damian Pierce, or Kareem Hunt. What do you think, Kyle?
This one I will go with. I could go with Kareem Hunt. His role has just been, elite in the past 2 weeks as far as committee backs go. We saw in week 1, he got plenty of red zone work, strong pass catcher, and they're favorites this week. So Cordell Patterson brought it close for me, but we're not getting fun Cordell Patterson. They're mostly using him as a very good, but between the tackles kind of guy. They're not using him like they used in the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season last year, where he plays like the sort of other side of the coin of Deebo Samuel. So for that reason, I think I'll just take Hunt.
Give me Hunt. Even though I actually like Damian Pierce versus the Bears in that type of game. The Bears definitely ain't gonna be throwing the ball. They don't throw the ball yet. The Bears don't. But Damian Pierce ain't giving you nothing in the passing game right now. So I would have to go with Hunt here. And they all three of these dudes will probably see the same amount of touches. So give me the first off, the far and away best player of them all. And then give me the one who get the receiving work too as well.
Yeah, I agree. I want to ask you guys because you just reminded me now of because I have Damian Pierce and I've been fumbling the bag with him for sure. My running back situation this week in this $200 league that I'm now 0-2 in with 3 starters injured through 2 weeks. Damian Pierce, James Robinson. I picked up Darrell Williams, and then I got Tyler Algier too from the Falcons. It's terrible.
Algier, you gonna probably not gonna go there with it. He's only gonna do you well if you get a touchdown, probably. Darrell Williams, it's looking like James Conner will be back this week. So that leaves you with James Robinson and Damian Pierce.
Yeah, your only 2 options.
Yeah. Well, damn it. All right, on to the next one. Zeke, Rashad Penny, half PPR. What are you guys thinking?
To me, it's easily Zeke. Penny completely split the backfield of a terrible offense last week. We even saw that they got 7 points on the board. That was not the offense. That was a blocked field goal return for a touchdown. They were not able to get either a field goal, or at least the offense wasn't able to get a field goal or a touchdown on the board. It's a committee situation for Penny on probably one of the league's worst offenses, especially for fantasy purposes, because of how slow they play and how few plays they end up running. So I'll take Zeke in this situation. Neither is great options, but to me, the role is better for Zeke, and somehow the offense might be better, which is insane.
Like this one, Lawrence. What do you think about this? Amari,
I play Amari just because we don't know for sure if Dobbins coming back yet. So that's pretty much why I go Amari Cooper. But good luck with Cooper this night. Hell yeah, I feel comfortable playing Waddle versus the Bills defense. I don't know how the game gonna end up, but I feel comfortable playing Waddle in that game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that game's gonna be tricky, man, for sure. Wentz or Winston this week. I like Wentz against the Eagles.
Me too.
Little revenge. Yeah.
I'll take Wentz, dude. Winston didn't look right last week.
He was hurt. He'd be back this week. He'll be all right.
Yeah. Cleveland defense, New Orleans defense.
Somebody mentioned the New Orleans defense the other day. I'm sorry, the other day. A little while. A little while ago.
Feels like the other day.
Yeah. And I wasn't mad at that option at all. And then Kyle, you brought up something about the Cleveland defense that made sense about why you wouldn't go with the Cleveland defense.
It was Pittsburgh versus New Orleans, and I took New Orleans. This time I would take Cleveland because they're the favored team against a team with a low implied team total. Yeah. And Mitchell Trubisky. It's always nice to face Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah, so I got the same answer here. Not mad at the Saints, but I like the Cleveland pick better.
Me too.
Got Myles Garrett, man.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, Myles Garrett, man, he a little banged up, but he gonna be all right. He always torments the Steelers, so Definitely looking for him to get at least a half sack or something tonight. But we got 1 minute left, guys. Let them know where they could find your work at this week, what you got going on, and also throw them out your plays or any DFS advice for tonight.
NBC Sports EDGE, man, that's where you can find it all. I got the Flex Finder, weekly flex plays, and then the stock up, stock down. And my play tonight is Donovan Peoples-Jones under 28.5 receiving yards because he went from 11 targets to 1. That's weird. Give me the under on that.
That is weird, isn't it? I tweet out all my stuff, or at least I try to, but 32 stats dropped, on Tuesday, 32 stats for week 2. DFS article comes out, Thursday, tomorrow. And then the big preview pod we just recorded, that'll be in your podcast feed probably by now. So go and check that out.
Yes, sir. Make sure you follow both these guys on Twitter. Kyle tweets here. Lord Don't Lose. Two of my favorite guys to work with here at NBC, the superstars of the fantasy site, Roto World, that is. So make sure you guys check that out. Make sure you get the NBC Sports Digital app, Roto22 for the league if you guys haven't joined to play Lawrence and Kyle yet. We'll be back on Monday night for another hour. It's Giants versus Cowboys in MetLife. Giants going for 3-0. What a time.
That game's going to be fun.
It is. It's going to be a great game, man.
I think we have different definitions of fun, guys.
Football fun for me.
Yes, no, football fun is a different type of fun, especially when you're getting these type of games. So sign me up for a battle of the NFC least in MetLife. Honestly, tickets might be like $80. Lawrence, you want to go, bro? We should go to the game.
80? It might be 80 cents.
80 cents. It will be a good one. Make sure you guys tune in there. Saturday morning, we'll be back for college football. Myself, Brad Thomas, Eric Froton. So best of luck with your guys' DFS lineups. Best of luck with your bets tonight. And, of course, if you're not rooting for the good guys, you're not going to enjoy your night. Here we go, Steelers, baby. See you guys next time.